On a live line with us, we have Tenisha Taylor. She is the founder and CEO of the EZTaylor Foundation. And we've had Tenisha on WVON before to tell us about this foundation that is dear to her heart. And once she tells you why, you understand why it's important for us to support her. Hey, Tenisha, how you doing?
Hey, it's been a long time. Hey, Matt, good to talk to you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, how you been? Everything good? How's life? You still where you? Are you here in Chicago? You still down in Atlanta? What's going on?
I'm in both places. I'm in Chicago. You never know. Depends on which week. I'm in Chicago sometimes. I'm in Atlanta sometimes. But the mission is still the same no matter where I am.
I want to be like you, girl. I tell you. Tell our listeners about the foundation and your personal story and why you got everything started.
Absolutely. So the foundation is the EZTaylor Scholarship Foundation. Is named after my father, Ezekiel Taylor, who was a husband, a dad, an uncle, a deacon, a member of the community, who unfortunately one evening was coming home from church, a revival, and was carjacked, and his life was taken too soon from us, too early, tragically, by teenagers. He was only 34 years old, and the teenagers, the assailants, were ages 15, just 15, Matt, 19, and 21. And so after working in the media, as you know, for several years, more than 2 decades, and most recently at CNN as an executive, I just kept hearing this voice, Matt, that kept saying, to whom much is given, much is required. To whom much is given, much is required. And how do I pay it forward and help young people in my city, particularly young African-American males? Because at CNN, I was constantly covering stories of doom and gloom and despair of young Black males in my home city. And I felt like something needed to be done. We all can do something. We all can't save the world at once, but just a little bit matters. And that's how we birthed the EZTaylor Scholarship Foundation back in 2016 with my family, to honor my father's legacy, but to pay it forward to help young men who've also been impacted by the city's senseless gun violence. So many of our scholars have been impacted. They've lost mothers and fathers and sisters and brothers and siblings and friends, and the list goes on. And we've all been traumatized by what has grappled our city, which is the gun violence. And so our goal is to just pay it forward, to support them, to also show them the way, making positive life choices, bouncing back when you have pain. How do you turn that pain around from tragedy to triumph? And how do you then pay it forward as well? And so we provide scholarships to college. They can attend college anywhere in the country. Many of them are actually in Atlanta as well. In Chicago, you name the state, they are probably there. And we provide mentorship, one-on-one mentors. We pair them up with professional Black African-American males who pour into them, which is far more important than any check we could write, because that relationship is so important in getting these young men, keeping these young men on the right track. And then we provide life skills seminars quarterly as well to help them with life. You know, life is kicking all of our butts. It really is. No matter your age, your race, creed, color, religion, you know, we're all just trying to get through social injustices, health inequities, you name it, COVID-19. We're just all hit a bunch of ways, and we're just trying to keep the train on the tracks. And that's pretty much what we do with the foundation.
Well, it's an amazing mission, no doubt about it. And, to have this positive energy surface after having this tragedy happen in your life, it's something that we all need to learn from. There's no question about it. I've been to one of your events, and it's really an amazing event to see so many young people benefit from the generosity of the people that you're able to get together and assemble here. So that's, amazing job. And, unfortunately, we still deal with carjackings. You're talking about what happened to your dad happened in 1982, and here we are 40 years later still dealing with the same type of crime that's taking people way too young in our city. But your story is a story for us to rally around and to celebrate, and how to take a tragedy like that and help benefit young people in the community. And that's what we need to do. So tell our listeners how they can participate.
Yes, we need people to rally around. We're the village, Matt. It takes people say, how do we curb this violence? How do we help young people? It's a village. It takes your neighbor, it takes your church, your fraternity, your sorority, all of us to get together and to support one another. What good is it if my son goes to a great public private school in the suburbs and he's doing well and we have a 3-car garage and all of this stuff, when the other young man across town doesn't have access. Access and opportunity and exposure is key, because then the entire community benefits. Because what happens when my son meets the son who no one poured into, right? I want that child to feel validated and respected as well. So then they'll turn around and respect my son. And so that's how this works. And so all of us in the village, all of us in the community must come together. I ask people to, head to our website. It's the letter E, the letter Z, EZTaylor.org. And there you can see the stories of these young men. You can see the stories on our Instagram and our Twitter at EZTaylorFDN. And you can just see how your impact is changing their lives. I mean, you can see we have young veterinarians. We have young lawyers. You're not going to see this on all major media news outlets. You and I both know that, Matt. We worked in news for a long time. We find the doom and gloom stories, right? When we don't see these positive stories. So if you want positive news about young Black men, this is where you go. And then we need your support. We need resources. We need young Black men to know that they have mentors in the community. So if you are a young man out there or older man or seasoned man or just a person who's willing to give back and pay it forward, we need you as a mentor. So you can contact us on our website, EZTaylor.org, and say, hey, I want to sign up and help steer a young man. Obviously, we need funding. The more money we take in, we give it away. We don't have salaries. We are doing this out of the compassion and love from our hearts. We are not paid for this. We're volunteers. We do this out of love. It's a labor of love. We all work full-time jobs and do this as a second-time job to raise money for these young men. So when you give, you know exactly where it's going. It's going to these young men. So please donate on the page. We're looking for corporate sponsors, small business partnerships. We need it all to keep these young men on the track. And we have about 25 young men in our program right now. Each year we continue to give scholarships every year, and we are blessing them from HBCUs to PVIs. They're in schools all across. So we need people to head to our social media and log on and please support in any way.
There you go. Tenisha Taylor, Ezekiel Taylor Foundation. Thank you so much, Tenisha, for coming on. You're amazing.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Take care, Matt. Talk to you soon.
All right. Don't go anywhere, guys. The afternoon show is coming up next.